Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Brewing with Jim.
And from me as well. I'm glad you're here. I'm Jim.
Yeah, we're very glad that you're listening. My name is Joseph, and this is a show where we get audience questions about all parts of life. Could be spirituality or life or work or school, whatever. And we just try to provide some insight and some answers or some wisdom. So without further ado, Jim, we've got a new question this week, as we always do. And the question today is perhaps one of the most universal questions that could possibly be asked.
Okay.
How do I stop procrastinating?
Okay.
I laugh because, again, I think everyone probably asks this.
Well, you say that
as
as though procrastinating is a bad thing. And it isn't always.
It's not.
But let's do the good part first, and I want to stop putting things off and putting things off. I have many things on my to-do list, and some of them are put there by my job and by my responsibilities and so forth. Some are put there by me.
Sure.
And by myself, by me. And so if I have something that I have to do, and I don't particularly want to do it.
Yeah.
Do people procrastinate on things they really want to do? Probably not. You just go
Less
ahead and less so. So my attitude is I want to get this done now so it's over with.
Sure.
I don't want to put it away.
Yeah.
I don't want to delay it because then it's on my shoulders. It's on my mind. It's a burden.
Yeah.
I keep thinking about it. I don't want. So my way of not procrastinating is just get it done.
Yeah.
Get it done. And so that's too simple an answer, but that's my answer.
Sure. No, I think there's a lot of ways we can break this down. I think the first thing that I want to talk about is I think there is a notion that we should dispel. I think there's a notion in life that an individual person is a procrastinator or not. And I think that is a misnomer. I think that's a misnomer.
That's false.
I think every single person ever procrastinates on some things and is, active or even hyperactive on other things. I think everybody exhibits the entire range, including procrastination.
Right.
I don't think any person is a procrastinator or not. I think every person...
It's not an absolute. No.
Yeah.
And people who say, well, there are two kinds of people in the world, and there's this and there's this, that's always faulty anyway.
Yeah. So with that in mind, I can only speak from my own experience. Certainly I procrastinate on things, but that doesn't make me a bad employee. It doesn't make me a bad husband or anything, because the things that are important and necessary, they get done because they're important and necessary. What I find I do sometimes is I will procrastinate in ways that are still otherwise productive.
Well, that assuages your guilt.
Sure, it does.
Yeah.
It does. The things that I tend to procrastinate on are specifically things that don't have deadlines. If a task is open and is like, at some point I need to get to that, it's very easy to put that aside for something that is more urgent or more interesting or more in front of my nose.
But if it doesn't have a deadline, does that mean that it's not important that it gets done?
No, it's important that it gets done, but it's vague. I'll give you an example. Another podcast on our network at CVCS has an episode that is recorded that needs to be edited and uploaded. And it's been in my inbox for about a week now.
Okay.
Right? It's like from that particular teacher, there is not a deadline. It very clearly, it's like, whenever you get time for it. Now, I don't imagine when she sent me that message, whenever you get time for it, that she would be okay with it never being uploaded, or that it would be okay if it's not uploaded until April, right?
Well, she's just being polite.
She's being polite.
Which means get on it.
Sure.
Yeah.
And I think realistically, there's a gray area of like appropriate, I clearly did not need to put everything else aside and edit that episode right when I got that message.
But there are some time pressure tasks
that
you have to get it done.
Yeah.
Students have this.
Yeah.
The assignment is due Thursday.
Yeah.
Well, then you have to get that done by Thursday.
Yeah.
Now, I have every ASL student has a semester project. And it's not a burden. I don't want it to be a burden.
Right.
So how do I make it not a burden? Well, I have labs. I help them with it. I hold their hand as they go through this. We have fun. And I give them 2.5 months to get it done.
There you go.
And it's assigned early in the semester, and they can go at their own pace. 99% of the students wait until it's due at the end.
Yeah.
And I tell them I will not accept late work. I do accept late work for almost everything because if they do the work at least late, they're learning from it. If I say I won't accept it, they'll throw it away and never learn.
Yeah.
But I tell them that I'm not going to accept late work.
Yeah.
So don't wait until the last day and say, "Oh, I left it in my mom's car. Oh, I forgot it's at home. Can I go home and get it and bring it back?" Don't do that to me.
Right.
You're procrastinating into danger here.
Sure.
You're going to fail. And so I force them not to procrastinate, but they still do.
Mm-hmm.
And I even have this little speech with them. If you have something that is going to be on your mind the whole time, get it done early.
Sure.
And most of the projects could be done in 2 weeks.
Yeah. I think that there is a lot of wisdom in there, but I can also trace from the student's perspective how procrastination happens. And it's not malicious and it's not even unnatural. I think it's a very natural process by which we procrastinate.
Yes.
I think that we can identify and say and name, for example, we live in an incredibly fast-paced, frantic, and busy culture.
Mm-hmm.
That's the case for students. That's the case for adults. That's the case for parents. That's the case for single people. It doesn't matter. Like, we just live in a world where everybody feels incredibly busy all the time. Now,
that's viewed as a good thing.
It's viewed as virtuous in many ways,
but
and it's not.
No.
But here's where that comes into play. Take the podcast editing example that I have literally on my plate as we speak. The reason
it's not literally on a plate.
Okay.
Go ahead.
The reason
I shouldn't do that. I can't stop myself.
The reason that I haven't done it yet is because I got that email from the teacher. Yeah, whenever you can. Probably at like 2 p.m. on, let's just pretend it was a Monday. Okay, I've got class in 10 minutes. I'm not going to do it right now. I got to teach a class. I get done with my class. The day is over. I have to get home, because my wife with the kids and, my wife has to go teach her music lessons and stuff. And then I'm not going to do it that evening because I'm at home and I can just do it at work tomorrow. And then the next day comes up and, I've got this project that I have a meeting at 9 a.m. that I need to prepare for. Okay, I'm going to do. You extrapolate that across tons of other projects and tasks and events, and you do kind of keep kicking of what can be a relatively easy task down the road with there's never an intention to procrastinate. There's never even the awareness that I'm procrastinating until it has been a long time. And even then, do you call it procrastination? Because I have been busy and I have been productive this whole time.
Well, what you call it is irrelevant. The
you know
concept
what I mean?
exists nevertheless.
So the reason I'm saying all this is I think we can just give each other slack, give ourselves slack. Procrastination is unavoidable in a busy culture because we're always stratifying what is important or not and what is urgent or not.
Well, that's true.
Yeah.
You mentioned accurately that we live in a culture where everybody is busy.
Frantic.
And we talked about hustle culture.
We did talk about
one of the episodes.
Culture. Yeah.
It isn't always the culture that promotes the busyness. Sometimes it's the person himself, herself,
Sure.
that promotes the busyness.
Yeah.
There are people, and I won't mention anybody by name, but my wife, and she will sit hesitantly and watch a television show with me, but the whole time she's sitting there, she's thinking about all the things that need to be done.
Yeah.
And most of those things, from my perspective, don't need to be done, or put them off until tomorrow.
Sure.
I have promoted that.
Let's rest. Let's relax.
Rinse the dishes and don't do them. We'll do them tomorrow.
Sure.
And that horrifies her because those have to get done.
Sure.
And she'll stay up late and get those done.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to go over and do them because
Sure.
my value is put it off. It's going to be fine.
Yeah.
Rinsing is good enough. And I have talked before about the good enough principle.
That's right.
I think the good enough principle
Yes.
is a good principle to live by.
I agree.
Not if you're a neurosurgeon and you're in somebody's brain.
That's right, of course.
But if there are so many things that we have to
The routine, minutia,
excellence is not always a virtue.
Yeah.
You don't have to be absolutely perfect in doing this. This is good enough.
That's right.
And so that might be, to our questioner here, realize the importance of doing it or the lack of importance of doing it right now.
That's right.
And don't think procrastination is a horrible thing. It can be a good thing.
It can.
You just put it off.
Yes.
When am I going to have a conversation with a friend? Well, then I have to put this off and this off and this off. I do have friends. Well, I don't have any friends, really. Nobody.
Sure.
You can understand why. But I do have fellow colleagues.
Because you call them out every time
teachers,
they use the word literally.
I know. How can you? Well, who wants to be with a person like that?
Yeah.
It's a horrible picket fence to walk. Anyway, I have some.
But it's not a literal picket fence, Jim. It's, you're
you're
not literally
but I
walking
didn't say
on
literally.
I know. I'm just being ornery.
Okay.
I'm trying to match your
nice
orneriness,
Well,
with...
keep trying. But let me get this point out. I forgot what the point was. The friends come in and sit down before school. I prep most of what I do during the day. I have prep classes or prep periods there at the very end of the day this semester.
That's right.
But that's not when I prep. I get here early, and I prep. And here comes the friend and a cup of coffee and sit down. I will put the prep. I will stop everything.
Yeah.
And sit down and have
It's wonderful.
Time with him, and we discuss things then they're not necessarily important. And that is a skill that needs to be developed. That's an awareness and a perspective that is value-based, but you have to set up the values. And the value is I don't have to have this done right now. Or if I have 4 things that have to be done by Thursday, which ones do I do first?
Absolutely.
And which one could be put off until Friday?
This is you are hitting on a burden that, again, our culture, call it hustle culture, whatever, the franticness, it stems from, I think, always being connected. I mean digitally, like with work, email, texting, whatever. There is a propensity, and this has only been the case, for the last couple of decades, where work can really follow you home. You could not, we don't do that. I don't get this here at CVCS because it's a good and functional organization, but you could totally be working for a company where your boss texts you in the middle of the night. And you know what I mean? Or you get a call or something like that. And, there's a scenario where, you see an email in the evening and you feel a obligation to answer it then, even though you're at home, daddy's home. No, sorry, children, I must answer this email. There is a wisdom and I think a sanctity to putting work aside. Call it procrastination if you want to. I don't care. But the people that are in front of you, especially if it's your family, if it's your kids, that's important.
And if the boss is wise enough to be a boss, he ought to be wise enough not to do that.
Absolutely.
Not to do that. We have a protocol here at the school that we are to answer emails within 24 hours.
Yeah.
And respond to them. I don't find that burdensome. But that means I don't have to answer it right this minute.
Yeah. I'll check emails after school because it's just kind of habitual. I'll see them on my phone. But I do not answer emails until I'm back in the office the next day. And you know what? I've always had good job performance reviews. I've never gotten a complaint from a parent. I live a healthier life. The world keeps spinning.
Let me just let you know what a nice guy I am.
Yeah.
Yes, I will maybe email a colleague here or text a colleague.
Yeah.
And at the end, I will say...
You've done this. Yes, I know this.
No reply necessary.
That's right.
And most of the time I get a reply anyway. Sometimes I don't, and I love it. You don't have to reply to me.
Yes.
I'm just letting you know this. And then
it's very
people
kind.
say, "Well, did you get my text?" Of course they got the text. How many texts go away into the ozone? Of course he got it.
Yeah.
But no reply necessary, and that takes the burden off the other person.
Yeah. Let's close with maybe a practical tip or two, and even if it's just, I have a few in my head of if you do feel overwhelmed, and if you do want to call it procrastinating, I think that's fair. Again, realizing that we can call a lot of valuable things procrastinating. And I don't want you to beat yourself up for hanging out with your kids, right? But two practical things in my head that are helpful for me. Number one, I heard this piece of wisdom. I don't remember where this came from, but it was this idea that if something can take you less than 5 minutes, do it right now.
Okay.
Do it now. Drop everything and do it right now just to get it out of your head and just to get it over with. Less than 5 minutes. If you know that a thing will take you less than 5 minutes, drop everything, get it done. The second piece of advice is for longer-term projects that are more ambiguous. I think of like the project in your ASL class, for example. Break it up into smaller pieces. And then I guess this is a third separate piece of advice, which goes in tandem with number two, is set deadlines. Like make there be deadlines.
Have the students set their own deadlines, you mean, or I set them for them?
I think it can go either way for your sake. A good example, whenever I have a huge project in one of my classes, I do literally break it up into pieces and have separate due dates.
All right. I don't agree.
Sure, and that's fine. No, I think there's validity.
Well, let me tell you, I agree that's one way to do it, and it's a valid way to do it.
Yeah.
I'm trying to teach them to be self-motivated, to be self-independent of me. I don't want to set up all those deadlines for them. It's more breathe in, breathe out now. Here, let me help you with all of this. Maybe it's too fast, too soon for their maturity level for me to say, you have 2.5 months to do this.
Sure.
But the subject of I do break it up in this way.
Yeah.
The subject of the project, I need to approve it. You choose it.
Yeah.
We have article projects, and you have to pick an article, and here are the subjects and pick any article, but you have to bring it to me so I can approve it, and we'll sit down. And that happens before it's due, of course. And, so, in a sense, but how do I teach them to motivate themselves and not procrastinate?
That's the question we're all trying to answer.
Yeah. Okay.
You have to give them the opportunity to. You have to hold them to high standards. You have to just be clear about your expectations. All things that I know that you do. And
I hope I do. Yeah.
I think I would assume
I probably
so.
Do.
Yeah. Anyway, but the big thing too is just setting your own deadline. Like, let's even close on this one more time. The podcast example that I have in my inbox right now. I should just tell myself that I have to get that done by the time I leave on Friday.
Okay.
You know what I mean? That's just a thing that should happen. And that's going to be the thing that helps me actually get it done. Otherwise, I will work on something else productively, and I will find some reason to say, "Oh, I'll get to that next week."
Okay.
And
Keep in mind,
it keeps
though,
going, yeah.
that urgencies always trump priorities.
Totally.
And so if you have something that needs to be done, you can say, I'm going to get that done today. It's
Absolutely.
in my plan for today.
Absolutely.
That becomes a priority, but then the kid falls down and breaks his arm. That becomes that's the next thing we're going to take
100%.
care of. Urgencies
100%.
always trump priorities.
Yeah.
Okay.
I love it. Let's bounce to our second segment. This is a question that
If we
Jim,
must.
Well, we must.
We must.
This is a question that Jim does not know ahead of time, and it's always off the wall in some way. Here is the question for this week. If you had to choose between living in the year 1500 or the year 2500, which would you choose and why? And we can lay out here. 1500 is more of a known quantity. We have no idea what the world's going to be like in 2500.
Well, 1500, I could find out what's going on. Google it. And
That's right.
I can.
You could prepare.
Yeah, I can.
But you know that you're in for lower living standards. You know that you're
different living standards.
Lower. Yeah,
Lower.
for sure. Yeah.
This comes from a computer guy. Okay.
Well,
not many computers in the 1500s.
Well, not just that, but I'm talking like electricity and I mean like fundamental,
Yeah, but they're fundamental to us. They're not fundamental to somebody in the 1500s.
That's fair.
Candles are great.
Yeah.
Okay,
that's fair.
Okay. I mean, they're not going to
medicine,
They're not going to. Well, of course, and life expectancy is probably much shorter. Sure. But I don't know how to answer this exactly.
Yeah.
I'm curious about 2500.
Yeah.
We're really putting off the rapture, aren't we?
It was supposed to be this Tuesday. I don't know what happened.
Somebody.
Yeah, someone predicted that.
Yes, and it's something that is purposefully unknown to us.
That's right.
So how does some dude in Africa come up with it's going to be Tuesday? Yeah. I think I would be happy with either one. Yes, the conveniences and the comforts that we have now that were not available in the 1500s, if I'm aware now of how this lifestyle is that we live in Southern California now, and I go back to the 1500s, that would require an adjustment that would be negative and uncomfortable, and I wouldn't want to adjust to that.
That's right.
What do we have as far as conveniences and comforts in 2500? I have no idea, but I can rest comfortably being in either one of those centuries, because the values are going to be the same. They do not change.
Yeah.
The values don't change.
Yeah.
The morality does not change if we have a base and a standard for our morality. That doesn't change. The public awareness of what is moral and what is immoral, that changes all the time.
Yeah.
But biblical standards don't change.
That's right.
And the Bible was in place in 1500 and will be in place. The gates of hell will not prevail against it in 2500.
That's right.
And it is unchanging.
Yeah.
There's my comfort in being able to say either one. I could live in either one of those.
That's fantastic.
I'm trying to imagine I can't imagine,
of course,
what the comforts and the conveniences will be in. Maybe I don't have to think at all. Maybe AI has worn itself out, and but the AI is never going to replace morality.
That's right.
AI is never going to replace the skills of socialization and the manifest of God's love to another person.
That's right.
AI can't do that.
That's right.
AI is not spiritually aware of anything.
Yeah.
So I think I'd be fine with either one.
Yeah.
What kind of clothes? I'd have to get new clothes.
I guess in either direction.
In either direction.
Yeah.
I'd have to.
Yeah.
And would I live in Southern California? What would the freeways be like in
Sure.
in 2500? Well,
Yeah. Hopefully we have high-speed rail by then. I don't know.
well, I don't know, or I can just telethink my place into another place myself. Yeah. Okay.
That's so funny. That's very good. Let's wrap this thing up.
Okay.
This has been another episode of Brewing with Jim, and as always, we want to thank our audience for listening. We have an email address set up that is brewingwithjim@gmail.com. We always want to extend an invitation to our audience to reach out to us. If you have a question that you would like us to answer, if you have a story or just a background on where you're listening from or anything like that, we would love to hear your feedback on the show. So that's, again, brewingwithjim@gmail.com.
Or tell us which and why you would like to live in 1500
There
or
you go.
2500.
Tell us. That's always a fun. Maybe that should be a reoccurring. At the end of each episode, to say, tell us what your answer would be to this question.
I'm curious.
That'd
I'd
be
like
fun.
to hear it. I would read it.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. Okay.
Very good. Thank you all very much, and have a good week.
Bye.
The topics that are covered and the answers that are offered during episodes of Brewing with Jim are designed to mine the wisdom attained from a life of pastoral ministry and care. They do not constitute professional or clinical training or expertise in the areas of counseling or mental health. CVCS and its podcast network want to provide a platform for the discipleship of our community. Brewing with Jim is our attempt to foster that environment in a format that is accessible for everyone to participate in. The views, thoughts, and opinions expressed during the show are the speaker's own, and they may or may not represent the views, thoughts, or opinions of Capistrano Valley Christian Schools or its faculty. The material and information presented here is for general information purposes only. This episode has been a production of the Capistrano Valley Christian Schools Podcast Network. Capistrano Valley Christian Schools is a Christian JK-12 school in San Juan Capistrano, California. Be sure to check out, subscribe to, and leave a review of this show and the other shows on our network on your podcast player of choice. Doing so supports the school community in a multitude of ways. For more information about the CVCS Podcast Network or any of our other shows, check out cvcs.org or email podcasts@cvcs.org. On behalf of the whole network, this is Mr. Jasper saying thank you again for listening, and stay tuned for more.